my name is Jane Woodman. I am the president of the Farmington Historical Society, and I would like to introduce you to Chester Greenwood. This is Chester Greenwood's roll-top desk that has been given us by loan by Chester's family. And he used to have a little box that he set on his desk, and in that box were tokens. And this is an example of the token that he would carry in his pocket when he went uptown, and he'd hand it out to the kids or someone he had never met before. And it was a discount to buy a pair of earmuffs for 25 cents rather than the 75 cents what it could have cost. This is a typewriter, Royal, has a movable carriage, and in it is one of his office papers. This one here is actually an adding machine that he would type in the figure, the dollar and then the cents, and he'd pull the handle and it would have a ribbon that would type and it calculated. This is the Payroll from 1882, and it says on the front, ear protectors, Chester Greenwood Company. And in it is the name of people who worked in the factory throughout that year. Not everybody worked in the factory. There were men and women that were in the country, and they would come to Chester's business. They would come to Chester's business and pick up a box such as this. The box would contain these parts and pieces, and they would assemble them and bring the box back with all the Muffs ear protectors. All the ear protectors finished in the box. So it was an early cottage industry. It started out that all the earmuffs were black. And the fashion of the time, they went beyond there. And this is an example of colors that were available. Chester had many inventions. He used a leftover material from the springs that went across the earmuffs, across the head. They were punched out of a sheet, and so those sheets that were left over became part of his invention of the rake, the tines of the rake. Chester enjoyed the outdoors, and he would go skating with his friends on the Sandy River, and over time his ears became frostbit. His family was very concerned about that. Don't stay out too long. You need to come back in if your ear's starting to hurt. Well, he didn't want to. He wanted to stay with his friends. So he went out and he felt them starting to hurt. So he ran in, and his grandmother was at the sewing machine. And he said to his grandmother, "I need your help." He had a piece of wire in his hand that he had made two hoops on the end of pieces of wire. And he wanted her to put something over those hoops so it would protect his ears. Well, she was sewing and probably doing some quilts, and she had some fabric right there, and they made a little pocket and put it on those and put it over his ears. He got out there, and his friends laughed at him, but he was able to skate longer because he had done that. Well, he perfected that through the years. In 1877, he sent for a pattern for the U.S. Pattern Office and received one for his design that he made was an adjustable and different fabrics on the ears. Chester, once he received the pattern, he was making the early ones at his family farm. on the Whittier Road. But in time, he decided that he needed to be able to make them faster and better. So he started creating the machines to make the material, cut the fabric, punch out the metal bands, steel, it was actually steel bands. And so in time, he had a shop in West Farmington, and then there were 2 locations in Farmington. The last one was on Front Street, and it was a wooden building on Front Street. And then his father did help him out by building a brick building. Chester was a young man when he started with this, and he was planning to stay in Farmington. And so he was very active throughout various things. He was in the temperance movement. His wife Isabel was in the suffrage movement. Farmington was his home, and he had a very inquisitive mind. And he went on to invent other things, and that he became known, at least through the United States, if not internationally. Some of the machines he made were helping the other manufacturers in town. His boring machines, the spools and novelty items, he helped them make machines. He created machines for them to make their product better. He was very active in the town. He was one of the early people with the meeting house. The meeting house was moved from where the courthouse is now. They moved the meeting house down on Pleasant Street. Well, that didn't last very long, because in 1886, the huge fire of 1886 took that building. But there is a story out there that Chester was one of the people that was on the roof of that building in his street shoes at the end of the bucket brigade, putting water until they just pleaded with him to get down. Richard Morton took to the legislature the request to have December 21st named Chester Greenwood Day. At first it didn't go through, but eventually it did. And that's when Chester Greenwood Parade would be held on the first day of winter. Well, the first day of winter, the first year, it snowed. And the parade goes on whether it's snow, sleet, or rain, and we've had them all. The snow, they had to plow the road before the parade could go on. So the parade now is led by a snowplow. Every float or participant is to wear earmuffs. And so we have school buses with earmuffs on, fire trucks have earmuffs on, and all the other floats that come along. There's a very special float. We have a gentleman who pretends to be Chester Greenwood, and that's Clyde Ross. He has, I believe, has done it every one of the parades. And with him is a descendant of Isabel Greenwood. And it started out as being a great-granddaughter, and it's now moved to a great-great-granddaughter. And she is dressed in a winter outfit, and they lead the parade as well as they raise the flag at the courthouse. We would welcome anybody to stop by on Chester Greenwood Day. The Tickham House will be open from 9 to 3 with all our displays and all our rooms open. We also have a resale ongoing at that time. That's one of our fundraisers. And this year we will be having the Octagon open the same time, 9 to 3. And the octagon is located on 126 High Street, and it's the brick octagon on the corner. And they also will have a few wreaths there. We wish you all a happy Chester Greenwood Day and hope you stop by and introduce yourself.